Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Fire Away. In this episode, we have our first very special guest. Yay, applause.
Yay.
Yay!
Right here with me is a man who was born in České Budějovice in the Czech Republic, raised in Canada, and when he was 17, returned to the Czech Republic and is now living here for the last 7 years already.
7 years, yes, been 7 years.
We go quick. And he goes by the name of Robert Daniel.
Yeah, Dano
Dano.
in English.
I just call you Rob. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
Good
having
to
me.
have you. And it's a special edition because we're talking about dependency versus independency. And this has a lot to do with your life story, basically.
Yeah.
Whether or not we get into that today, I don't know. We'll see. But if you're wondering who is filming, these street interviews, then you're looking at the man right here. Robert is behind the camera. Robert is in front of the camera. And if you're still not confused, you're doing a good job. No, you are behind the camera. How's that?
Shooting, it's fun, to be honest. Like a new experience. I'm learning new things. I'm learning how to, I struggle with communicating sometimes, but now I see the way you communicate. So I'm learning in both ways, I guess. So yeah, it's been fun for sure.
So you're learning not only to hold the camera and to shoot like good shots, but you're learning at the same time to
communicate, evangelize, ease into conversations.
Yeah, it's been a journey that has just begun recently.
Yeah.
Because just tell the people like a small bit of your journey towards the church that you're now in and what the influence of the church has on your life.
So basically, found Jesus about 2 years ago after being, severely depressed. As you said, I used to live in Canada. Came back here in 2018 with my family. Fell into depression, felt isolated because I didn't know how to speak Roma. I didn't know how to speak Czech properly. So, tried many different things to find purpose, but Jesus actually gave me purpose.
Hey.
Fell back into depression when I started working, got influenced by others.
You walked away from Christ again, or
I kind of just gave up on it.
somewhere in the middle? Wow.
Yeah, I just gave up on it and try to do my own thing again. And try to be independent again,
Uh-huh.
Here
we go.
Yeah. Try to be independent, and then, things happened at work, got injured. I'm thankful for that, actually, which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I got, that happened, but I got surgery, had time to think, laying 5 months in my bed,
5 months. Can you imagine 5 months in your bed?
Yeah. But basically, scrolling
Nuts.
through social media and things like that, I found through music, this rapper named another rapper, a Christian rapper. I went on his page, and he had a video with the ex-gang member. His testimony basically gave me like the push to start believing again. And then from that day, started reading, and then I guess you could say started looking for church.
Yeah.
Started looking for English-speaking churches. Saw a sign, me walking, just being outside, seen signs on the streets. So I went and searched it.
Like this sign of the local church.
Yeah. Went online, seen it, seen, translations, seen English-speaking people. I seen you, so, and then I joined, and it's never been the same since
It
then.
never has been the same.
No,
Hey! You went from living an independent life, just by yourself, living your own life. You became a Christian, but the full story is a story for maybe another day. But
Yeah.
you became a Christian, Christ follower. You end up in a church, and it has not been the same because you turned from independency to dependency.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not talking about dependency on the church here per se. It's dependency on Christ.
Dependency on Christ, yeah.
Yeah. How has that formed your life?
How has that formed my life?
Yeah.
I mean, it gave me a lot of peace, for sure. When I was independent on myself, and I just believe in yourself, that's the mindset we have. Just believe in yourself, and you can do it. Always brought me to emptiness.
Strange, right? You can do it. Yeah, I agree with the statement. You can do it. But in the end, when you literally look at it, it's like rubbish because we can't do anything.
Exactly.
It's through Christ that we can do things. But outside of him. It's
Yeah, we're basically imperfect people trying to be perfect.
yeah.
And that will never work, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so we went out on the streets. We did the interviews. We talked to a bunch of people. Let's talk about it. The
Let's talk about
interviews.
it, yeah.
What did you hear?
Like I said, everyone saying the same thing basically, you know, just be independent on yourself. You know, one of them said it's you versus the world.
Yeah.
It's okay to be independent. No one wants to be dependent on God because they see it as they view it as like such a shame or something.
Yeah, like a weakness, right?
Yeah, like a weakness, exactly.
It's weak to follow Christ or something.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Because they don't know. They don't know God.
Yeah, so you
I
don't
feel
know
it.
what you don't know.
Yeah.
So of course, and then if you look around in the world, a world that screams, you can do it, you have to do it by yourself, especially in the West, you know, individualism,
Exactly.
it's you versus the world, exactly then. So what's happening?
It definitely gives a lot of pressure on yourself. But I feel like when you start depending on God, everything just leaves all these, you know, stressing. Even when things do go bad, you just have, like me, for example, when I have like temptations and trials or whatever going through in my life, I look at it as God trying to teach me something.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the difference. Whereas before, when I wasn't, it was like a curse. I looked at it as a curse. Like, this is just happening because I did something wrong.
So you start blaming yourself.
I started blaming myself.
Yeah.
So I started looking to fix myself in basically every aspect of my life.
Yeah, that's what we heard on the streets as well, right? The one guy that said, "Yeah, I couldn't live with the." He told us he was a Christian, but he couldn't live with the fact, one, that there was so much pain and suffering in the world, which there is an answer for. Go search, if God, then why evil? But the second thing he said was like that he could not live with the fact that a perfect God
Mm-hmm.
had such high standards that he could not reach it. And he was blaming himself for the fact that he couldn't reach the perfect level that God had set.
Yeah.
What would you say to people that think like the same way, that say like, yeah, okay, I see this, I read the Bible, I see this God that sets the standard so high, I'm never able to attain it.
So the reason why I feel like God did that is because to show you that you cannot do it on your own.
Exactly.
And that's why he sent down Jesus he's the only perfect one. He's the only obedient one, you know, he's the only righteous. We have to depend on Jesus, basically. You can't do it on your own.
So I like this, you know, because there's absolute beauty in the story of Christ. And when we talk about dependency and independency, Jesus is God. So Jesus is independent of everybody and everything. He is supreme over all.
Yeah.
But he came as a baby, completely depending on humans. And then in this dependency, he does the most extraordinary thing in which he dies on a cross, excruciating death. And through his death, we have the ability to return to God and become dependent on him again.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope you can follow it.
I feel like that's the way he's made it from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
From the very, very beginning, from Adam and Eve, you know. He wanted them to depend on him, but they chose their own ways. They wanted to become God themselves.
Yeah.
And that's when the fall came. So, you know, that's why we also call him our Father. You know, he's there to provide, to guide us, to discipline us. Yeah.
If you look at the interviews that you did, which one was spoke the most to you?
Definitely the one where the guy felt church hurt.
Yeah.
And felt like he wasn't perfect enough to keep the God standards, because I feel like if he really got, you know, discipled, I guess, if that's the right word, if someone taught him, you know, and showed him who Jesus is and why he even had to be here for us, then I feel like he would be a Christian today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just to understand somebody to help him understand the things that he was struggling with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Explain it to him. Well, that's exactly the reason why we do this, in the hope that somebody who's struggling or has questions, you know, gets some answers.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive in some piece of scripture because I opened up to John chapter 3, the Gospel of John. Well, you know what? Let me just read it.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. This is John chapter 3, verse, let's say 22. I start reading there. After these things, Jesus and his disciples came into the land of Judea, and there he was spending time with them and baptizing. John was also baptizing in Aenon near Salim because there was much water there and people were coming and were being baptized. For John had not yet been thrown in prison. Later on he ends up in prison and then he dies there. Therefore, there arose a discussion on the part of John's disciples with a Jew about purification. And they came to John and said to him, Rabbi, he who was with you beyond the Jordan, that's Jesus, to whom you have testified, behold, he is baptizing, and all are coming to him. So basically they are saying, hey, John, all the people are moving towards Jesus and not towards you. So what's up? And he says, John answered and said, a man can receive nothing unless it has been given him from heaven. A man can receive nothing unless it has been given him from heaven. So this shows that John understands that he is depending on everything that God gives him. Like you said, with Adam and Eve, everything they had was given by God. But then Satan comes along and he starts lying to them, deceiving them into thinking that they did not receive what they already had. And now we see John saying the same, everything we have, we get from God. Our life, our ability to breathe, to wake up, our ability to sit here and do some podcasts like this. It's all because we are depending on God.
From the moment we wake up, basically, God's grace is right there.
Yeah. So if you put this like as a reference next to your life, where would you say is the biggest change in living independent from God to going towards dependency on God?
What would be the biggest difference?
Yeah, where was your shift? Let's say, like the moment everything changed.
I mean, I think it was definitely a period of time. It wasn't just like I picked up the Bible and became dependent as soon as I read about Jesus. It was definitely, I had to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
And I feel like God made me, allowed me to fall into things to show me that if I was to steer away from him, these things will happen. So I feel like within time that I definitely became more dependent. With time, though, that's definitely...
So it's a process.
It's definitely a process, yeah.
A process in which we grow in our dependency on God.
100%.
Yeah.
Because we have to unlearn a lot of things, Especially for me, only being a follower of Jesus for about 2 years. I feel like there's still a lot of things I need to learn and do.
Can you give an example?
One example would be, when we, for example, when we do evangelism, me trying to basically become the savior, but realizing that it's all on God. All we have to do is just tell them the gospel. Jesus died for you, rose again, and then that's it. And then it's God who, grows the seed. It's not, we can't save people. Only Jesus could do that. Only God saves. Even in my family, I guess you could say, I've been trying to, not save them, but kind of push Jesus onto them. But I just have to believe what the scripture says. It says in Acts chapter 16 verse 31, it says to believe on the Lord Jesus and you shall be saved, you and your house.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is just depend on him. He said it, so, and God cannot lie, so I just have to wait
Until it happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's our greatest testimony, right? That by the way we live, we show that we are followers of Christ.
Yeah.
Because we can speak and say A, but our actions might, show B.
Yeah, exactly.
Which contradicts each other, and then people go crazy, like, you're a hypocrite, you're fake.
Yeah.
What we say, we must do, and what we do, we must be able to explain.
Everything is in his hands, so we just leave it in God's hands. He will grow us and transform us. Yeah,
I would say this. For me, it's the same. It has been a process of falling, standing up again, accepting God's grace, trying it again and again and again,
Yeah,
over and over, until the moment comes that you realize, like, hey, I used to be doing this stupid stuff, but now I'm not doing it anymore. I've grown. You kicked in a door, right? When you
yeah,
was younger.
yeah,
Back then, you were not living dependently on Christ. You were doing everything by yourself.
yeah. A kid, just being a kid.
Yeah. And you end up breaking a door of glass.
Yeah, because of something so dumb, Basically, what happened was I was standing outside in the lobby and I see these kids, through the door, and they look at me straight in the eye. I tell them, come open the door, but they don't come. So I get, angry. It wasn't my intention, but then somehow kick through the door and
Somehow.
somehow kick through the door and my foot goes through the door and I break the lower half of the door.
Yeah.
And then my parents actually deal with the consequence. They actually have to pay fine every month, which is
Yeah.
crazy,
So that's when you were living independent, by yourself. No God inside, no Jesus, no mercy.
Yeah, exactly.
But now you're living with Jesus, in Jesus, from Jesus. He's all your life. And there's another testimony of glasses there.
Yeah, so basically before I started working, they told me I needed glasses because my eyes are really bad. They didn't even want to accept me, but they allowed it and whatever. Didn't have the money to buy them, to afford them. But I guess God wanted me to have glasses now. It's been 2 years since then. And bro, everyone just want to appreciate you, bro. Thank you. You know who you are. Can't wait to see you again. And yeah, man. But God just wanted me to have glasses, I guess.
Yeah. So
So now
you
I could
received
see.
these.
Yeah, as a gift from God for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you look good, if you ask me.
Thank you.
So you see that there it goes, right? It's not to boast or anything, but it's
definitely not.
It's in Christ, living dependent on Christ. That's where there is no emptiness anymore.
100%. No emptiness. Just fully. I feel blessed. I just feel blessed. Not even just like these I'm receiving, but just church. Church is a big blessing to me. Just even it sounds crazy, but even when I have trials and tribulations in my life, I look at it as a blessing as well because I know God is preparing me for things. But I definitely feel filled, reading the Bible. I get filled. Yeah, it's just no emptiness at all.
Yeah.
For sure.
So tell about the church and how did the church adds to your dependency on Christ.
One way the church's been helping me was just community.
Yeah.
Community, definitely, because I feel so isolated, like I said before. Being around brothers and sisters, things to share, just learning from each other, depending on each other to pick us up and be accountable for us, when we fall. I feel like that's one way I've been depending on the church. It's just really a blessing.
So would you say it's about the building?
No, it's definitely about the people.
Only about the
100%.
people.
People, yeah, for sure.
Meeting.
Like-minded people, like-minded, when you're around it, when you join a church and you see this, the fruits of the Spirit, others, they start to pour in you. So like if you're around happy people, joyful people, kind-hearted people, that will also pour into you. So, and there's no way you could go to church and be the same, for sure. I feel like it'll definitely change you from the inside out, for sure.
Now, of course, one could say, but I can meet like-minded people at my basketball club as well. So why would I go to church? Then I would say, like-minded people at your basketball club, yeah. If you're around basketball, yes. But you're not depending on basketball. But if you are depending on Christ, and I'm meeting like-minded people who are also depending on Christ, and we do what he told us to do, then the biggest shift comes. And it goes from, you could say community, but I think it's even a level deeper. There's this Greek word they use, koinonia. It's maybe too much to go dive in right now, but it's this talking about fellowship, dependency on each other, helping each other, being there for each other. all in one.
In this one building, basically. You
Yeah,
get-
and the one place where you gather, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we call church,
Yeah, it's beautiful, to be honest.
right? I would say so.
100%,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know, if you're watching and or you're listening and you think about, yeah, should I go to church? Yes or no? Try it. I'm challenging you. Try it. And if you don't like it the first time, go to a different church. Try it over there, but see what it does.
Yeah.
Because one thing I can say, you know, especially in your case,
Mhm.
you met the right people. And I'm not talking about me myself. Let me be clear, because I was not even in church when you came for the first time.
Yeah,
But you met the right people right there and then
100%.
that welcomed you. That said, hey, nice to see you. Who are you? You know, you had some great fellowship. So, man, going back to the dependency and independency topic again to close things off. What's the biggest takeaway from this whole theme?
Being more merciful towards people, you know, because they just don't know. They don't know. They feel like right now it's good, you know, their lives, but there will. I don't pray on it, but something might happen. You know, they might lose a loved one or whatever. Bad things happen in life. That's just how life is. But I hope that they come to realize that only God could sustain peace and happiness and all these things, and people rely on themselves to sustain peace and all these things, and that will never happen. That will never like satisfy as much as God. For sure.
Yeah, it's sad actually, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's a sad thing that people, you know, this one guy said, yeah, I don't want to be saved. I want to, how did he say it again? I wanna
People don't want to be saved. They want to
save themselves.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here we are trying to tell you, you cannot save yourself. It's all emptiness. You know, that's what John said. Once again, he said, a man can receive nothing unless it has been given him from heaven. In other words, you cannot, you know, you can look for money, fame, women, men, whatever. It's all empty.
yeah. And then that's what I went through as well. You know, being even around people, I still feel isolated, even with people. You know, because at the end of the day, I was trying to be perfect again. I wanted to just have everything at once, but again, it just didn't work out, and it just led me to depression.
You told me the story about you sitting in the bus stop with your sister.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing it?
Yeah, so basically one day, you know, I started working and I was very confident, you know, I wanted to preach, I wanted to evangelize, but actually it was the total opposite. I got influenced by other people. You know, I started giving into their suggestions. I started, you know, they asked me to go out for a drink. So drink, you know, smoking, all these things. So I would give into it, fell into depression, started comparing myself, you know, to other people. And yeah, that just led me to spiral out of control. And so I felt depressed. And me and my sister one day, you know, we were walking home from work, and we're at the bus stop, and I sit down and I actually start like crying, you know, and my sister actually says, you know, she asks me, why are you crying? I tell her, you know, I just feel so lonely. I'm alone. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, you're not alone though. You are. God is always with you. But I didn't want to listen to that. You know, that was,
You were a Christian back then?
yes, but I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah. And so you are surrounded with people. They invite you to all sorts of social events.
Yeah.
And still you feel lonely.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Even to the point that you are depressed, crying in a, like at a public
public
bus stop.
Yeah.
And then your non-believing sister,
Mm-hmm.
she says, hey, God is always with you.
Yeah, definitely God was talking to her that day.
Yeah.
100%. But I didn't want to listen to it.
You did not want to listen to it.
No. Just wanted to be independent.
Here you go again, right?
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. That's how we all fall back. That's we try to do things by ourselves. Man, there's so many times in my life that I've tried, you know, and I'm a Christian quite a long time now. I'm in full-time ministry, you know, doing this, preaching, teaching, discipling, evangelism, all the stuff. And still, I find myself sometimes trying things by myself independently from God. Like how foolish am I?
I feel like God allows it, you know? God allows you to fall
Yeah.
so that he could teach you.
He gave you your own will on purpose, right?
Exactly.
And through the trials and tribulations, like you like to say, we build character.
Exactly.
And character gives hope to the return of Christ. So let's close this episode by maybe the most important message of today is that whether you like it or not, basically you don't have a choice. You can live independent and it will lead you nowhere. And if you decide, you know what, I want to give Jesus Christ a shot and start living dependently on him, you can do so right now at this very moment. Just close your eyes, focus on him, and give him your life by speaking out to him, praying to Christ and telling him, Jesus, here I am. I want to surrender. I want to give my life to you. If you did that, or if you want to have contact with us, leave a comment, send us a message on social media, reach out. We would love to help you through that.
For sure.
Even Robert hops in, maybe if you want to talk to this guy, he can do so.
For sure.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And next week we will return with a new Let's Go video in which we will go out on the streets. You will film again?
Yeah, 100%.
Here we go. Maybe you do some interviews as well, right?
Maybe.
We will see. And we will talk about the theme rest. So hop online next week. Upcoming next week, Monday. The video will drop. A week after, there's a new episode with a new guest. So make sure to join. And until then, God bless you. See you in the next video.
Bye, guys.